miss. I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. Rio, Jimmer, and Danny G sitting tonight. Going to talk some news and notes. A lot of different things going on around the sports world in general. But before we do that, what do you got for this weekend, man? How'd things go down there?
It went all right. We had a couple guys place. No state champs this year, but a couple of placers and unloaded brackets. One kid, I mean, his bracket was loaded with multiple-time state champs and state placers. And he himself is a multiple-time state champ and state placer. He ended up getting 4th. He got beat out on the front side by a kid that moved from Pennsylvania to Iowa just to go to one of the big academies down here. But it was a good tournament. We had our first girl ever for GHV MAC Club to place. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice work, man. So busy weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, busy weekend. So usually they do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 7th grade and 8th grade wrestle Friday, and then 5th and 6th Saturday, and then Sunday the girls, and then 3rd and 4th wrestle. Well, there was a hockey game that was scheduled Friday night, so they couldn't get the arena, Wells Fargo Arena, Friday night. So they did all of them down to the final 8 on Saturday, and then wrestled the final 8 of the boys on Sunday and all the girls. Jesus. So it was a long day.
I tell you what, they lost
10
money
o'clock.
on
It was
that.
like 10 o'clock Saturday by the time.
Damn, man.
So
They definitely lost money on that because the Wild is not – there's not a big fan base down there. Well, you can get tickets dirt cheap. There's like maybe 1,000 people that go to the games. It's just not – it's not as fun as like the hockey that we're used to up here, right? So that definitely sucks. I suppose they have to do it, but
yeah, I'm sure the schedule is already made, and which I don't get. I was like, why can't you know when state's going to be for kids right after high school state tournament? You know, the weekend after, reserved Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it was a good time. A lot of people, they go to districts and they have to qualify top 4, make it down to the state tournament, and then they battle it out for the top 8.
hell yeah, man. Well, nice work down there. Sounds like there was some success and a lot of work over the season. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, all right, man. Unless you got something else over there, Jimmer, let's kick her off, baby.
Magic guard Markelle Fultz, the number 1 pick in the 2017 draft, who tore his left ACL more than a year ago, will return to action against the Pacers tonight.
Yeah, good for him. He's been out a long time with that ACL injury. Magic definitely need him, so it'll be good to see him come back. Be interesting to see how many minutes they give him.
He was showing a little bit of redemption when he got traded from the Sixers because he had a rough start to his career. He goes down to Orlando. Looks like he kind of got a little bit figured out, and then he tore his ACL. So a good thing to see him come back too. So.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back strong too. I mean, Orlando needs it. That's for damn sure. So.
Oh yeah. Speaking of injuries and players coming back, Denver Nuggets Michael Porter Jr. to be cleared for on-court contact and eyeing a March return. Porter underwent lumbar spine surgery 3 months ago, a procedure that has allowed him to return to the floor, moving and shooting pain-free in recent weeks.
Is that due to bust? So much hype coming out. And they knew his injury history. And I think he's played maybe almost one full season, and that's it. That's when he got his contract, and that's it.
He was averaging, bust may be a strong word. But, yeah.
He's on the line, right?
Yeah. I mean, that 1 year that you're talking, I think he averaged 19.2 points a game, 50% from the field.
Yeah, he balled out that year, got himself the contract. But anything leading up to that and then after that, it's been injury after injury after injury.
It does look like a combo of that and Jamal Murray may be able to make it back. I think this is an Achilles or whatever that was. Looks like he'd come back before the end of the season too. So all pieces fall into place. I think they're like 36 and 25 with Jokic leading the way.
Yeah.
Get these pieces back right about the right amount of time here.
Yeah, and Murray's going to be huge too. So depends on that.
Yeah. New York Mayor Eric Adams said Monday that he wants to see Kyrie Irving playing home games at Barclays Center, but making an exception for the Nets' unvaccinated star guard would send the wrong message to the rest of the city.
Yeah, it's you walk that thin line, right, on player safety and overall safety of everybody in the stadium, and then also wanting to win games. Because if you noticed, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows since the trade. Still getting beat big time as well. KD's out with injury right now. Yeah, so that, I'm sure he's in a rush. Like, oh man, we need to, because they're already sitting back there. What, in the 8th seed?
Yep.
So I'm sure he's feeling the pressure to, man, we made this big trade. We're gonna need some production. We're borderline in and out. So I don't know. I get where he's coming from, but yeah, it's.
They did say that they're targeting, as long as the numbers keep declining in New York, which they have been, he said, they're targeting March 7th, I think is what I read, to lift it citywide, statewide. Citywide, I do believe, is because, he's a mayor, so citywide, as long as they keep declining. So, not that far out anyways. If
I'm surprised he didn't, just because the NBA commish called out the discrepancy between home players and away players. Like, if you're away, you come in, you can play.
Yeah.
But the home players said that doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm surprised he didn't jump on that and use that excuse and be like, oh, you're right, that doesn't make any sense. Let me get some love from the city and we'll let you play, Kyrie, But
right.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Well, you also don't want to make enemies with, or ruffle the feathers of other players as well, because you're trying to get your guy back. You don't want to.
That and what he's dealing with is like the unvaccinated state employees too that had to either forfeit their job or jump through this, that, and the other. That's also what he's worried about too, by ruffling those. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. You have an NBA commissioner or NBA NFL. Well, then combo that up with what he's saying, where you don't want to piss off teams coming in because maybe they just say, then we just won't show up to play the game. We'll eat the loss, but guess what? That's lost revenue too.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Teams coming in, unvaccinated players can play.
I know.
Oh.
You're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying they literally say, okay, if our star player can't play because he's unvaccinated, because you're saying that he can't now, then we just won't come to the game. We'll take it as a loss.
If it goes
and then
the other way?
then you lose the revenue.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So, yeah, great. Your team gets a win, the Nets and the Knicks, but you got no revenue from that game because there wasn't a game and nobody paid to show up. So.
Yeah, ultimately, it's always the rich taking care of the rich. He doesn't want to hurt any other team, and potential, payroll coming in or whatever, cash flow coming in. So he's just worried about staying in that spot or climbing.
Yep, that's true. Gotcha.
So, which order do I want to do this one in? We'll do the MLB. Well, it's both MLB, but we'll talk the one first, and then he'll lead into the second. MLB made it clear today in their meetings that they are prepared and willing to miss a month worth of games. Now, when I was reading the article itself, it looks like it's pretty damn clear that the league has went in. So the way I understand it is that whenever you have an association and then you have a union, usually there's one agreement that is always there, and that is that you are supposed to be coming in with good faith negotiating. MLB has not been doing that. If you remember when this first started, the first 2 months, they didn't even talk to the MLBPA. They had no communication with them. And they've only been taking it up for, I guess I didn't put, I thought they were like small increments. They're even smaller than smaller. I thought they were coming up $5-10 million. No, they're coming up literally $1 million. To me, that's not good faith when you're only going up $1 million, and you're already that far apart anyway, and you're only coming up $1 million per. It looks like this has been like they've been ready to do this, like they were before it even came to the lockout. This is part of the process, because in that article it said that it looked like the MLB owners believe that they can go a season without games. I don't know if they remember back in 1994 when they almost lost baseball. Yeah. Like the fans did not come back after that. We talk about that all the time, McGuire and Sosa saving baseball. I don't know where they get from this. And steroids, yeah.
Yeah, we talked off air a little bit too. There's sponsors everywhere in the stadiums, so they're not going to be happy with that either. So for the owners to come out and say that as a sponsor, you're probably gonna what the heck? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense from that aspect either, because you're not going to get paid from them at all. So at least if I was trying to have us banner up there and pay money for that, I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah, you're not getting a cent from me. You're not, at least like we were saying off air, was at least during the COVID year and no fans in the stands, bare minimum it was on TV, so your sponsorships were still hitting the TV
right.
screens.
I mean, sure, yeah, they probably all have enough money they could sit out a season and have plenty in their pockets, but at the end of the day, you still want to make money.
Conspiracy theory. Okay.
Ooh, conspiracy corner.
So what's one of the things that the MLB is no longer doing right now?
Steroid testing.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't steroid test for a month, but then you start steroid testing and immediately start playing baseball, you think there's a big bump there in anything?
Are you assuming some long balls?
Yeah.
There's already a lot of long balls. It'll be interesting to see the numbers. I mean, the baseballs were already bouncier, right, and stuff, and home runs going up. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see the numbers when they do start playing, how that looks.
The longer they go without, the stronger these guys are going to be able to get, or at least some of them.
True.
And then it could be another boom for baseball because there's going to be even more. You said the ball's bouncier and everything like that, right? Mm. But then on top of that, these guys are finally able to fucking juice without getting in trouble for a little while. Maybe there's another
a very short while, as long as, because not the one thing we do know is that players or people don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
Like in time, like here's your timeline right here. You need to stop, so it's not. I don't know how to stop. Otherwise, there would have been people wouldn't have been getting popped in the first place, right? From the last steroid black eye.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, any news is good news if you know anything about sports. So it doesn't matter if it's good, bad. Just ask the NFL. As long as you're talking about them, it's good media at the end of the day, regardless. So even if it's a black eye, like a steroid scandal or 2.0 or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're still talking about baseball.
And who did the black eye hurt? Did it hurt Major League Baseball?
Not really.
No, it hurt the players that are involved in it, right?
Yep.
They don't give a shit about that. I don't know how real this is, but I think it's interesting thinking about that because they're clearly going to be willing to take this further. There's going to be a lot of games missed this year. I really think so.
Yeah, I think what did I say it was my last one? I thought they were going to play 100. Dude, it ain't looking too good unless a judge steps in.
Yeah. Who do you think who bends first if they do play this year?
It's going to have to be the players because they're not billionaires. There's so many players that aren't even millionaires, right? They're making maybe they're making like $500,000 a year or something like that because they're still on like that quote unquote rookie contract. Maybe they're lucky enough to get pulled up, but they were a late round, so they're not even a first round money.
Yeah.
There's too many players like that, or maybe not 500, but you know what I'm saying, like 750. They're not even millionaires. They can't go that long. So at the end of the day, you may have some high-powered $100 million pitcher up there sitting there saying, yeah, let's go ahead, let's do this, because they also have their endorsements and everything else. But you're supposed to be doing that. You're the voice of all the people below you.
Yeah.
And there's too many guys that are not making millions. They're not getting promotionals. They're not getting anything, advertisements. They can't. They're going to have to – they always buckle first, unfortunately, because they don't have the backing of it.
Yeah.
So you're both on the same page, it sounds like. Do you think they even get close to what they're asking for?
No.
Not at all.
I don't even say half now. Because usually I told you, if you just want to fast track shit, usually, all right, you want this, why don't we just come in the middle at least, and then we're in the ballpark. Can we at least do that? They're not. MLB knows they hold the hand, you know?
Yeah, because you always hear about, players taking a part-time job or this and that, to make ends meet during the off-season and whatnot because of the pay structure and the pay scale and arbitration and how, just that whole thing goes with baseball and paying players. So they know exactly. They got plenty of money.
Yep.
All it's going to be is a waiting game to wait out the Players Association until they want to kind of lower their demands, what they want.
And then it comes back to then it may come back right back to your conspiracy then. Because then they they might have lost the casual baseball fan because you guys pissed us off. Made us wait so long. How do we get their attention? Cranked up players, they're throwing balls out of the ballpark, and we have no liability to that. So even if they do get caught, like you're saying, I didn't even think about the part of MLB didn't take a rap in any of that. And it's technically what I say, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, they made a shitload of money off that, you know? That was I don't know, that's when it didn't die, right? It, like, almost a Phoenix type deal. Like, it came back from the ashes and blew up, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be curious. We'll see.
So this leads me into this one right here. Derek Jeter is stepping down as Miami Marlins CEO and shareholder, which was only 4%, by the way, and I didn't know it was that little. Jeter said, "The vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one I signed up to lead. Now is the right time for me to step aside as a new season begins." Bruce Sherman, the ownership group leader, and Jeter came at odds over the size of his ownership share and the financial commitment to the roster. Jeter was entering the final season of a 5-year contract. Sherman's statement alluded to Jeter stepping down as a mutually agreed upon decision. So the reason why I was kind of tying this one into both, I mean, obviously, money, Marlins, blah, blah, blah. Well, what we don't realize is like what he actually did for the Marlins. It looked like he just dissected the whole damn thing, but actually he rebuilt it back up even stronger. In fact, they even made the playoffs in that 2020 season. But the following one, but then they just signed some guys and they have a nice ass young core, right? Is it weird that at the end of the day, Jeter is not that long away from playing baseball? And then maybe you see what's going on too on top of that.
That's a good point, yeah.
I don't know if it had something to do with that too. Jeter's statement didn't come out through the Marlins either. It was like an independent site that he had it sent through. So he didn't even have it come through the Marlins. So I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those things, once a player, always a player, like that type of situation, and you found out about the MLB, like we're ready to miss games. If it really is 100% about the pay part and the ownership stake, don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Legend of the game.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. I wonder if we're going to hear more, that comes out of that or not. But
how do the Yankees not find a spot for Derek Jeter in your front office anyways?
Yeah. That's insane, and kind of like something like that on a small scale. So Garner got a new AD. He's from Clear Lake. I believe he won a state title for Clear Lake in wrestling. And played several times. The head position, coaching position, became open. They didn't even give him an interview.
wow.
Yeah,
That's a very short, very, very, very short. Makes sense if you don't think about it right there. Actually,
yeah. It's like, what? Are you kidding?
right?
How?
Not even an interview.
Not even an
Not even a courtesy one.
Yep. Crazy.
Not even like the Bulldog one where you just kind of remember that the original time he got interviewed.
Yeah.
But they had already hired the amount of guys they wanted.
But they gave him a
courtesy one.
Come on in here and sit down and talk to us.
Not with the same
We'll talk
people
to you.
either. It was with like our super at the time. It wasn't even all the people that are normally in the interview.
Oh man!
But at least it was a courtesy interview, right?
That it was.
That's messed up. Number 11 Providence, who is 24-3, 14-2 overall or 14-2 in the Big East, clinches their first Big East regular season title with a dominant win over Creighton, 72-51. Been slow. Like, I don't follow college basketball like extremely close, but it seems like the last few years that Providence has kind of been building to this. Seems like they've been always hanging right there in the 25 kind of.
Mm-hmm. It seems like overall, I mean, not just them, NCAA basketball has become closer talent-wise. It's not just the same teams winning over and over every year, right? We're talking about multiple times in the big dance. You know, there's those quote-unquote small schools are winning and making deep runs. It's not just, oh, it's another Cinderella. It's, you know, several times we see these small schools make a good run and then continue to be good for several years. And I just think the talent level is starting to spread out evenly now among all these schools.
100%, man. Yeah, I guess before last year, like the last 3 years of doing like your March Madness brackets and stuff have been impossible.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many 13 seed
Right.
upsets, 14,
Well,
even
you
15,
want you know that one's going to happen. It's just whether you were good enough to call the one that was going to actually do it. So that comes back to his point saying that you're actually expecting it now. It's no longer really a Cinderella story because it's so spread out,
right?
Yeah. But they make it, and then coming back to yours, the bracket. It's like
anybody
which one do
can
you
lose.
pick?
I mean, I'm sure it's in your notes, but I mean, what 1 through 6 lost the other day?
Yeah.
That was the first time.
Fucking
I think.
insane.
Right. The top 16 in the nation lost. So anybody can lose any day. It's and that's where I say the talent level has kind of started to spread out evenly, and it's not the powerhouses anymore, right? The Kentuckys, the Dukes every year.
Right. Anyone has a swinger's chance? I meant that as a boxing term.
Oh, not pineapples?
Not upside down pineapples. The commissioners from the ACC, Pac-12, and Big Ten pushed back on Friday against any public misconception that their alliance of conferences work together to stop expansion of the college football playoff. Last Friday, the college football playoff announced it will remain a 14 playoff for the next 4 years, a decision that was made with an 8-3 vote of the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame's AD. Mississippi State President Mark Keenum, the chair of the college football playoff's board of managers, publicized the vote, revealing that the Big Ten, ACC, and Pac-12 voted against the 12 team, which, if you remember the number I just said, was 8-3. Those are the three conferences that voted against it.
The Big Ten, ACC, and who?
Pac-12, who are all in that little major little alliance that started, a couple months ago?
Yeah. Which is weird because, you know, they always seem like they're on the outside looking in for the most part.
Especially the Pac-12, right?
Yeah, especially the Pac-12. And, just weird you'd vote no for that because that would open up so many opportunities for teams in your conference to get in. Instead of top 4, Pac-12, you can basically erase them unless you have to go undefeated and blow everybody out to get in. The Big Ten, I mean, we saw them get in, and they can punch people in. So it's kind of whatever. And then who was the other one again?
So
ACC.
And
same thing with them.
ACC, just like what you're saying, can be if they have a team that basically goes undefeated or one loss, depending on what that one loss was, because they usually play a pretty good non-conference. They'll play one out of like real good one usually. Mm-hmm. Like a Clemson back in its day could go 11-1 and still make that 4 team. You know, depending if that one loss was at the beginning of the season to whoever. Pac-12, it's almost like as soon as they lose one game, they're out of it. So I don't know why they wouldn't have. I understand maybe that's the reason why the Big Ten.
I don't know, because the Big Ten, you're so close sometimes to getting that second team in, but then ultimately are out, and you would think they'd want that as well.
I don't ultimately get it either, unless they're I don't. They keep going behind saying it's for player safety. So if that's the case, then I don't know. Maybe make a fucking rule where, you know, certain players are only allowed to play a certain amount of games, so maybe you'll worry about laying them down for a game, as in like one of their Division II lineups or something like that.
Yeah, one of those blowout games.
Yeah, and
right?
you literally just play all your, second or third teamers.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just like, that's the only thing that keeps popping up is because of player safety, which I'm not saying I'm against, because if you are, what they say, you play one extra game. You play one extra game if you're the top 2. You could play 2 extra games if you're anything below that, if it was the, 12-man. So,
Yeah, the only argument, in my opinion, like you could talk about player safety, and ultimately that's why players tend to bow out and prepare for the draft is the player safety, right? So the only real argument is kind of related to that, and it's, well, we're going to have so much less talent in those games at the end of the year because those good players on those good schools are just going to bail anyway. Because they're like, well, God, now I got to play 2-3 extra games? No, I'm going to go prep.
you
for
may
the
actually
draft or
see
whatever.
more, yeah.
Right.
Especially those ones that are like,
It's going to get so depleted if you
they're
get
like
too far down, right?
7 down to 12. They're swinging dongs. They're gonna like, no, thank you. Like, do we have a legit shot, people? Come on, I can look in the mirror, but I do have a legit shot of getting injured with 2 extra games if we were to make it to that Final Four, so to speak, or something like that. I have that much more exposure to getting hurt and ruining my draft day.
Yep. That's the only thing I would worry about. So then no matter what, if you're a team like Alabama that has 4 and 5 stars, even in second and third team, they're going to roll every time because they don't have any gaps, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a team that ekes in, Clemson's not a good example, I guess, but say you're
Like
like
a Wake Forest this year.
Wake Forest this
There you
year,
go.
right?
Perfect.
Yeah, or like a Cincy potentially. If their players decided to bail, they have nobody besides those few top players they have, right? Then it's just going to be worthless. It's not going to be as fun to watch. Somebody's going to get blown out. That's the only argument I could see is we're going to have less. It's going to be more depleted to that point. But
I think it's more depleted once you get down to 12 regardless, because there's no way that we're believing Wake Forest was going to hang with anyone up there.
No.
I mean, we had
12's a lot. Man.
We
12 is a lot.
Yeah.
We were truly hoping and praying for Cincy and everything, because we like the underdog story, correct? And it would have been awesome. And they showed up proud. They just don't have enough, right? We watched the game. They just don't have enough at the end of the day. You go all the way down to the Wake Forest, the one-year wonder or something like that. We keep saying Wake Forest, but that's the easy one to pick on right here.
Yeah.
There's no way they're hanging with
No
they
way.
They might not even hang with Cincinnati.
No.
If we're being honest.
Yeah.
Cincinnati played way too good a defense and Wake Forest played no defense. I don't know if you watched a single one of theirs. They
Right.
were averaging like a college basketball score.
I say go to 6, give the top 2 a bye, and
I like
roll
6.
from there.
Yeah, I like 6.
Yeah, I don't understand why they have to be so greedy. Why does that have to be 12 or nothing?
Or not. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yep.
The NCAA has relaxed the amount of THC an athlete can have to trigger a positive test and is recommending less stringent penalties for athletes who do test positive for marijuana. The threshold levels for THC, which is a psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, will go from 35 nanograms per milliliter to 150 nanograms per milliliter, which the NCAA says is in line with the world's anti-doping agency levels. Previously, one positive test for marijuana would mean NCAA athlete would immediately miss 50% of a regular season, and a second would mean an athlete would sit out the equivalent of one regular season. Now it's down to basically you have a chance of not getting suspended at all, especially if you follow like some of the orders of the school, like how the school like takes their drug policy, and then if you don't do that, the first one you won't get suspended. The second one would be if you didn't follow the school's guideline and you got popped to the second one, it's only 25% of the games. So
Why have it at all?
the only thing we heard someone at work, I think, even bring it up. No, it was Bullshit that brought it up. When we were talking about the possibility of this. The one thing I could get with it is that you're not trying to promote drug and alcohol use, because It isn't like we're sitting there telling. It isn't like you're trying to tell kids at a college level, high school especially, but college level, to promote drinking, even though they're old enough to drink. You know, and I'm not saying that because I don't think marijuana is a bad thing. I've never been big into it myself, but I don't think it's a bad thing. And I don't think it's bad for. I definitely don't think it's bad for a person. I think it's a great substitution for
Natural
pain.
Pain reliever.
Yeah, pain reliever. So I think it's a hell of a lot better than using opioids and pills and everything else like that, right? But you still don't want to make it look like you're trying to, like, all right, you're old enough, go ahead and, like, trying to promote. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, I guess. I'm not saying I'm any which way, but on that one, it's like, I can see where you're not trying to get the college student to actually be doing it, like trying to encourage doing it. That's the word I'm looking for. It isn't like you don't want to encourage doing it. But we're not going to punish you if you do, I guess should be.
Yeah.
So I guess here's my theory on this. And this is what I think about government, too. I think it should be taken care of at your school. Like, the NCAA shouldn't enforce anything. I think it should be you are at the discretion of the school you're going to. If they say don't do it at all, don't do it at all. If they say here's your limit, then, okay, just be smart with it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, maybe don't promote it. That's a good point because you don't want to do that to young athletes. That's fair. But just take hands off and say the schools are going to handle this. And if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's kind of like what, I don't know, the federal government and the state governments are supposed to be doing. Like, the state government's supposed to handle their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Okay. The Big Ten plans to take a group of athletes from member schools on a summer trip to civil rights sites in Alabama as a part of a conference-wide program exploring racial relations and social justice. The July 15th through 17th trip will be funded by the Big Ten and is the first event in the conference's Big Life series, a program designed to provide real-life educational experiences for athletes.
Pretty cool.
Cool.
Are we taking a trip?
You want to take a trip?
Yeah.
We can take a trip.
Yeah.
I want to get educated.
Yeah.
I like a good, solid history lesson.
Yeah, why not?
I do.
Let's do it.
Kyler Murray. Yep, that's when we're going. Kyler Murray's agent, Eric Burkhart, said in a statement Monday that the quarterback has sent a detailed contract proposal to the Cardinals. The statement noted that in order to consistently compete for championships, the franchise needs long-term stability, which Murray is offering. The statement made two things clear. Murray is committed to remaining with the Cardinals long-term, and he desperately wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so does every other quarterback in the league.
We went from everything's being copacetic, that was the word that was used, to kind of like being verbal with your contract in the open, like trying to get your contract negotiations with the public.
Yeah,
A
dude's gonna get
detailed
paid.
contract. Yeah, you're going to get paid.
You're going to get paid.
Like, what are you? Unless he's trying to set the world on fire, I don't know what he's trying to get. Like, is he not? Was he not going to be one of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the damn league?
Well, but then,
Which is the top 5 players paid.
But then what's going to happen when he becomes a top 5 paid quarterback in the league? What's going to happen to Arizona's roster?
Yeah.
Right? You can't have it both ways, bro.
No, it doesn't. It
You
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'd love to stay too if I could have a guaranteed contract for long term. If I get injured, doesn't matter.
I don't know
things like
I don't
that.
know what he's asking for. Maybe he's listening to what Aaron Rodgers has been preaching up there. You heard that he evidently I haven't heard it come from his mouth, but he evidently wants a 1-year $50 million contract.
Oh shit!
I did hear that.
Yeah.
You saw that too.
I didn't
Okay.
see that one.
Yeah, 1 year $50 million.
I think that in my mind, Packers are out. Like that's all he was saying is like I'm gonna make something
Okay.
so ridiculous.
No, you mean the statement? Okay.
I
The
love it.
statement is so ridiculous that the Packers are gonna be like.
Then
no
he's gonna
way.
be like, "I would have stayed."
No,
but-"
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I told you.
yeah.
And then
Dude,
he's gonna go sign.
What if
the Broncos.
they call his bullshit and actually pay him $50 million?
I'll put it on the table. Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Like, you have nothing to bitch about. You spent all the money we were gonna spend on trying to surround you with talent. You wanted $50 million, we gave you $50 million.
No, the best part of this is he's going to end up going to Denver or wherever, and he's going to take like $20 million a year. That's going to be the best part of this, you know?
He's going to take a pay cut to make sure they help juice that roster even more, especially
he wants a ring.
He wants it solidified, right?
Yeah.
He wants that. He wants whatever team solidified. So if they're weak on the O-line, he wants you to go out and get that. Here's the money for it. I'm leaving it on the table. Go grab it.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, I guess that's the world we live in, though. Like just, I don't know what this contract could have said. I'm interested. I hope this comes public. Like what Kyler's proposal. This evidently came from Kyler, not even his agent. He hand detailed and sent it to the Cardinals.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna get paid regardless. You're the quarterback. They're not letting you walk, right? I mean, we talked about good quarterbacks in the league, and you're a pretty good quarterback in the league. They're not gonna let you just walk. They're gonna pay you eventually.
You don't think it's a cake and eat it too situation? Like I want the $40 million a year. And I want you to put me with a bare minimum of 8 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, I want DeAndre. I want CD, like he's already said.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like we can't give you both.
Tom Brady would love to play with all them guys too. Aaron Rodgers too. But that
is how it works.
They have a cap.
Yeah.
In the NFL. Sorry.
And if you want those pieces, take a pay cut. It's always there. Take a pay cut.
Yep.
Thomas brought all those boys in from Tampa by taking he was paid $20 million, which is way under a starting quarterback, let alone a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
What's old boy get? 40 something million? Patrick?
45's in my head. I don't know if that's right.
I know it was a 10-year contract. I think you're right. 10-year contract, $450 million.
That sounds right. Rio's our fact checker tonight, so.
I was looking up.
Okay, I can check Patty's.
Tom Brady's in.
I think I could be wrong. I thought it was 20 or 25 mil, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. So Tom Brady signed 1 year, 25 mil.
Yeah. Oh no, it's more. Holy shit! 10 years, 503 million $503
$503
so 50 mil a year.
Crazy.
And Tom Brady took half that.
Jesus. And Patty had a $63 million signing bonus. What?
No. His fiance had a $63 million.
Yeah, you're damn right she did. And now he's gonna tell you to stay the fuck home too.
Yeah, just insane. We'll continue on. We'll continue on with the NFL. The Saints moved more than $26 million in salary cap charges into future years by restructuring the contracts of wide receiver Michael Thomas and offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk. New Orleans began the offseason about $75 million over the projected 2022 salary cap of $208.2 million per team, the highest amount of any team in the NFL. Speaking of a little bit of this, I forgot to bring this up the other day. Did you see what the cap hit for Matt Ryan is?
Yes.
It's a NFL record.
Did
you tell us?
40 mil or something like that.
40, I thought it was like 48.7 or something.
It's something crazy. But here's the thing. If they go one more year, next year it's going to be the cap hit, dead money hit is going to be like 10 mil, 8 mil, something like that. So I say that I think they'll play out another year with them. Unless they have a trade partner, but that's a pretty big hit.
Kirk Cousins is like 3rd or 4th in cap hit this year. I've seen that too. Like because his is like $43 million, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We won't go down Viking Row. I just seen a funny article today. Found out what we all suspected from our coach in meetings, just beating down on our quarterback there. I don't know if you guys seen the same thing or not. I just thought it was funny. But Saints have a lot of work to do. $75 mil, and you need to be able to bring back. You may not even be able to play a quarterback. You may have to have Alvin Kamara play both.
How does it work since they don't have to pay Sean anymore? Does that not get taken out?
That's
or
not
anything?
on their salary. That's not salary cap.
That'd be,
coaches aren't salary cap.
Yeah, coaches aren't salary
Be
cap.
sweet for him. That's a chunk of change, but
Yeah. No, it's purely
just the
purely
other
the players.
Okay.
So the Breeze, I don't know if the Breeze is still hitting it. I think it is because they've been kicking money down the road for a while. That's the reason why it's so big. I think there's still Breeze money chilling here. And then you obviously paid Taysom Hill. You paid Jameis Winston. Now, granted, Jameis is off the books. They're trying to bring him back.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you're trying to bring him back when you just paid Taysom.
You don't have talent, man. You don't have receivers because Mike's not going to stay. He needs to go. That could be a chunk. They need to figure out how to dump some of that.
Well, he needs to show that he's mentally right, too. Like, if you want a trade partner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they are still $49 million over the cap, almost 50.
The Saints?
Yes.
Okay. So
They got only $12 million in dead money. Drew Brees is 11 of that, 11 and a half of that. Yeah, that's Marshawn's 27.
that's a
Cameron
huge
Jordan,
number.
23. Andrews Pete, 15. Alvin Kamara, 14. David Onyemata, 13. Michael Thomas, now 13. And Teron Armstead, now down to 13. Taysom Hill, 12.
I do believe the NFL does like a shared revenue system, right? Kind of like the NBA. I think they do something like that. The NBA's is gorgeous, by the way. The way they do it, they support their bottom teams by because there's a shared revenue, a certain percentage that goes to all the lower teams too.
Yeah, like the Panthers and that.
Yeah, so I think the NFL does something like that too. I don't understand why you even worry about it. Like, I know why you do a cap. I know why you do a cap as an owner. Because at the end of the day, your competitive nature is going to take over, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, if I had the money to do it and you're saying I don't have no cap on that, I'm going to pay for whatever I got to pay for to get the best player,
Right
the
out of
best
pocket.
teams.
Yep.
Now, they do that to kind of protect themselves so they're not in their minds, overspending and going buck wild. But sometimes it's like, if a player is worth it, like, I don't understand why, like, they should be able to get paid. Like, all those guys you named are worth their salary, I believe. Cameron Jordan is a monster. Andrews Pete is like one of the better tackles or guards. He started at tackle. I think he's a guard now. They had one of the better offensive lines in general in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any one of their pieces is worth their value, right? Alvin Kamara is one of the best running backs. You know, it's
And
like
those defensive pieces, dude.
yeah,
their
and
defense is really good.
Marshawn Lattimore is one, Marshawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore is one hell of a monster. One of the shutdown corners of the league. It's just like my despise for the Saints. But I just believe that you should be able to keep your players, especially if you drafted them. Because all those guys I just named, they all have something in common. They all were drafted by the Saints. You know what I'm saying? So they're keeping their own guys and paying their own guys too. So it isn't just like you overbid somebody to take their star player. Nah.
So
Thinking
much
too
money.
much. There's a lot of money. They're in a lot of trouble.
They are.
Was that my last? No. Two more of the NFL. Green Bay, Detroit, and Washington, D.C. are the three finalists to host the 2024 NFL Draft. Don't know if you could have picked a shittier three.
Jesus.
Green Bay is more.
Detroit better get it.
What? Shut up.
The fucking shit
Shut
show.
up.
Just do it, man.
Okay, try to boost the city back
Yeah,
up? Okay.
come on. Help 'em out.
But good God. Have you seen these? I know you've seen these TikToks where these chicks and dudes are missing like teeth and whatever song's going in the background. They look all hideous and shit. And then they go like boom. They look all fucking like beautiful.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I don't know what you do to try to fix Detroit to try to bring them in. Because this is
that's
televised, by the way. Well, you mask everything over and just try to give tunnel vision to where you're trying.
Tough, man.
Yeah.
You're right. They need the funds. So, I mean, if you're rooting for one, I guess it'd be them. Green Bay is probably the cleanest one in a lot of
Green
history.
Bay is probably the move.
Yeah, probably.
You don't go to Washington. Why would you go to Washington? Isn't that kind of like, in a way, supporting the Commanders who are kind of pieces of shit right now? Or is that just me?
I mean,
I know it's for the city.
If they go to Washington, that man has more pull than we all realize, man. You know?
How are they a finalist?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How are they
The
even in the
finalist, yeah.
conversation? I don't even know
That's
how they're in
crazy.
the conversation of a finalist to even get a shot at it.
Yeah.
He's got no. It isn't Pohl. He has deep dark secrets on these people.
Yeah, he's got some Epstein shit, man. That's for sure.
In a shocking move, Buccaneers Pro Bowl left guard Ali Marpet is retiring. He announced on Instagram. Marpet is just 28 years old and finished off his first Pro Bowl season, a second-round draft pick out of Hobart College in 2015. Mopert became the highest drafted player, 61st overall, in D3 history. He also became the first D3 player selected in the top 100 of the draft since 1990. He became one of 6 players to post a pass block win rate of 92% or higher, which his was a 93.7. Yeah. At guard in each of the last 4 seasons, joining Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin, Joel Bitonio, Brandon Scherf, and Andrew Nowell, which I think we know all those boys.
It's a pretty good class of people,
yeah.
man. Shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize how that's the reason why I even put that information in there. I didn't realize like how good he was. I thought he was just kind of maybe carried by Tom Brady a little bit, but
Yeah. Chalk it up to another need Tampa's going to have to address.
ouch.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
You can always bring Antonio Brown back. He can't
Yeah.
offensive line, but he can take the attention off your offensive line.
I mean, he may be able to block.
He might be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. UFC 272 loses its co-main event as Rafael Fiziev tests positive for COVID-19 and will miss bout against Rafael Dos Anjos.
Yeah, he's from, was it Thailand, I believe. Made it all the way to Vegas, test positive, got sick with COVID,
I thought they weren't taking
whatever
him
it
anymore.
was. No, I think he actually was sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that sucks, definitely, to make that trip and everything and be prepared for a weight cut, and then that happened.
Tough.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
And finally, no, not finally. We'll come back to this one because I know you're going to be passionate about it. Grambling State football coach Hugh Jackson defended his hiring of new offensive coordinator Art Briles on Monday. After the school received criticism for the move because of campus-wide sexual assault allegations that led to the independent investigation and Briles' firing at Baylor in 2016. In a statement that was released on a letterhead of Jackson's foundation on February 25th, Jackson wrote that the recent hire of Briles was a testament of forgiveness, redemption, and enlightenment. A spokesperson for the university today says that Briles has resigned as the offensive coordinator.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Too much attention.
So I'm on. I'll let you two talk first about
No,
it.
no.
I'm on the fence on this one. So
I am too. So here's the deal. Ultimately, he's not the one who went out and the allegations were against. Were his players. And at that point, I mean, do you really know if it's true or not? I don't know. You can go on word and try to turn a blind eye, which is what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He got fired, lost his job. He had millions on the table. You don't believe anybody deserves a second chance after all these years?
And that's where I'm on the fence too.
He lost all these millions over all these years. A good job, Division I.
Turned a program into a program.
Turned a program around. I mean, I like what Amada or whatever his name is doing there right now.
Yeah.
But Art Briles was doing his
the
thing.
one that started it.
Definitely.
Restarted it back up, right?
And there's a mistake made there. By not coming out and calling those players out or bringing them forward, whatever the case was there. But at some point, you got to go, hey, somebody is. Now, yeah, it would be a different story if he's the one who's doing it, right? And it was a sexual assault allegation against him or something like that.
Or if they even brought clear-cut evidence to
Right.
him and he turned a blind eye. Like it's a video of them doing it, which
Right.
I don't think ever happened. I could be
it was
eating
just
something.
it sounded like it was word of mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot with this story, right? So, like, as a head coach, everything falls on you, no matter
Right.
what,
Yep.
right? We know that. Definitely deserve a second chance. Everybody does, okay? But there's more. It's not just him, though. It was a whole culture thing there, right? Where they avoided and the police didn't get called. And it was way more than just him.
Right.
So for him to just basically get blackballed at this point,
Right.
it sucks, man.
I think it went up further.
It's because
than
I don't know
so.
if he, like, how involved he actually was, right? Just based on what we know at face value, it's like, come on. Unless there's more that people don't know about, like what the hell?
I don't think there could. I don't think there could be. And the
I don't
reason
think
why
there
I
is
say
either.
that is that there was a negotiation for his contract. There was a buyout. You don't. We've talked about this before, right? You don't pay someone that you believe
Is
like
guilty or
exa-
is 100% guilty.
right.
I mean, like,
you don't.
you
pay,
don't at all.
You don't pay someone even
they
like,
resign or you fire them.
right. If there was obviously there had to have been something in this where it's like, hold on, either Art, we need you to go ahead and eat this one. We'll pay you your contract, like, because it might have went up further. Like, they were turning a blind eye more than him, and I have no idea. We don't know. They paid him part of the contract, so he shouldn't have been.
Well, it did go, didn't it? Wasn't the AD? Didn't he get let go after all this? Like, there was more than just him. There was.
It
a lot of
was,
people.
but is anyone paying attention to the AD if he has another job?
That's fair. But that just feeds into my point. Like, it was more than just him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
There's
like
a whole culture.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence, just like he is, and on both sides. So I get it, and they're very serious allegations, or not allegations. That I do believe they found out a lot of the stuff that was happening, right? But I'm talking about at the time. So obviously, you don't want anyone to ever think this is okay. So how do you get teams, coaches, programs, universities to actually never have this happen again? You bring down the swift arm of justice, right? And that's kind of what they did. And they went through, and then the media and general public kind of beats you up for this part of it. Now, where I'm on the fence is, should he not be able to eat either?
Right.
Is he showing that he's not grown at all? I mean, we're talking about years and years and years, so he should never get another shot. There already was apologies. There already was, and all that stuff. Yes, live by it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little evidence of it. But, at the end of the day, I'm like, is he not allowed to eat? I don't get what the end game is. Like, take him outside and put him out of his misery then? I don't.
Yeah.
So
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016.
Yep. 6 years.
So like I said, I'm on both sides of this. I get it. Like, if there's one thing that, like, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to argue for it, is it's pretty serious sexual shit that went on at this university. I think he should have learned from the one thing he should have learned from that I don't feel as much remorse for him is, you watched this happen with Joe Pa. You had something like this happen. The clearest you could be, the best you could be, is literally come out with it right away. And you lead the investigation into it. If the university tries to shut that down, at least you can sleep better at night, and you make it clear. You'll get another job at that point, and then you won't have this scrutiny.
Right. If you were so butthurt about everything like this, you would have stopped it when he worked at a high school in Texas. You would have stopped it before it even come to that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a crazy.
And those are even younger men and women,
Yeah, most of it isn't even related to him, of everything that happened, man. Like,
it was
girls,
just they didn't do anything when the names came out in the allegation.
and let him
Yeah.
play, and yep.
Yeah. Okay. There's that. Yeah. There's that side of it too. I'm thinking of, like, when the allegations came out before the big story, like, they would have campus security take care of it. They would never call the cops. It goes really deep, right? So, like, how deep did it go? Where if he tried to say something, to your point, would he just have gotten fired? Or, like, maybe he's got to come out and say some shit. Like, listen, here's the deal. I don't know, but he's got to be able to eat. I'm with you on that. I don't know, man. There's got to be. I think
It isn't like he jumped back up to a big time school either, right? It's Grambling State.
Yeah.
It isn't like he's got handed an offensive coordinator position at USC with Lincoln Riley or anything.
Right.
that's why the only opportunity he's going to get is it where he ends up at a school that's willing to bite the bullet for a few months. Until the media calms down, and then you can just focus on your shit. And not a lot of universities are going to be willing to do that.
They will, and not big time though. It'll be a D3 one that'll be like, you know what? Any media is good media. You're still going to sell out people. Some people are going to come pay for the tickets to watch you, hopefully watch you lose. we're still getting paid for that.
Yep.
Right? Unfortunately, like I said, I'm on the fence. It's a very sensitive issue. So, but part of me just wants to just flat out say, is he not supposed to eat? Is he not supposed to provide for his family too? Like, it isn't like he's out there like he was out there slanging that shit, right?
Yeah.
You know. 'Cause if that was the case, then I have a completely different belief on what's supposed to happen to somebody when you do some dumb shit like that.
Yep.
And we're gonna get to the one that my man Danny's very passionate about. I'm gonna slaughter the last name though.
Is it Islam or Kazmat?
Islam Makhachev dominated Bobby Green.
Yep.
Finishing with a ground and pound TKO at 3 minutes 23 seconds of the first round in the main event of the UFC Fight Night on Saturday in Las Vegas. Cost me some money because I took one of the boosts for Islam.
Oh.
But to submit him, I went with a submission.
Yeah.
Makhachev got Green against the cage, shot for a double leg takedown, and then went to work. He quickly had Green's back and landed big shots from there until referee Herb Dean stepped in to stop it. I just want a title fight, Makhachev said in his post-fight interview. No more. I'm tired of all these things. I need title fight. I'm ready. I'm here.
He deserves it as far as I'm concerned.
He's a beast, man.
And he's got Khabib in his corner.
He looks just like Khabib to me. Like I watched some of that, and I'm like, especially when his head was down, like it looked like his build was almost like Khabib-esque. Maybe not as thick, but I'm like, fuck, let me just see. I didn't realize like Khabib's dad was so much in, obviously heavily in hand and training him. I knew that part, but I did not know that he was like pressing for him to become the next champ. Like, because I don't think he wanted Khabib to fight much longer. And this is the guy that he was backing too, and that's what they're trying to push. So,
yeah, I don't know. I think that I didn't watch a ton of Khabib, so he won, 29 straight, right? I didn't watch
30.
30.
Right? He went 30-0, right?
Yeah, that's where he stopped because they wanted him. His mom
I always
or whatever
fight with
wanted
myself
him
on
to get
that.
to
I couldn't
30.
remember if he got to 30, but
Yeah.
okay, 30. So the last 10 or so fights, right? Everybody knew what Khabib was and what he could do, but you didn't get to see that build up. And Islam is like at that level early.
Yep.
So this man could dominate this shit for a really long time. He is so good. I really think he deserves it. I think that'd be a fucking phenomenal fight.
He has one loss. Do you know who that's to? I don't know this answer, but it says he had, what do you say, 12-1? What the hell did it say? He has one loss.
Probably early.
Yeah.
Try to look. He is.
Yeah, it's just almost a cheat code. He's obviously really good, but then he's got Khabib in his corner telling him what to do and fucking how to do it. And
Yeah. I'm not seeing it.
So he lost to an Adriano Martins by TKO in the UFC.
Okay. That must have been early.
Yes, that was his second fight in the UFC.
Okay. He doesn't know what losing is since then, though.
right.
Yeah, and he's had good wins. Chris Wade, Nick Lentz, all in the UFC. Gleison Tibau, Kajan Johnson. Those are some lower names. I mean, that Nick Lentz and Chris Wade probably were better than him, but Drew Dober, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green. Some good, definitely the last two really good wins.
Yeah, that's the shitty thing for him and Kazmat is they're so good. It's hard for them to get good wins because these guys are ducking and they're not willing to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I want to see.
Isn't that where the UFC is supposed to step in and place whatever fight?
Yeah, that's what. So they'll offer a guy a contract, right? And they'll say no. That's exactly what they don't.
I thought
tell
like
them.
UFC worked where, well, then you don't get another fight until you take this fight because they own the rights to you.
I don't
Because
know
you
how
signed a
often they do
contract.
that. Yeah.
You signed a contract with
Yeah.
UFC. So if I present you with this, then it's almost like then you're going without a fight until you fight this one.
And maybe that's happening for some guys.
It
Maybe
should.
they're like, you're just not gonna be able to fight then. I don't know, but guys are for sure dodging and not willing to fight either one of these two men.
And that's what I got, gentlemen.
All right, let me run something by you real quick. NBA talk.
Okay.
So, you guys ever listen to JJ Redick talk?
Yeah.
I'm fucking huge fan, first of all.
Yep.
He's like Tony Romo for the NFL, right? I love listening to him talk, analyze games and stuff. He also puts Stephen A in his place once in a while. I've heard some of that. Big fan.
I like that.
But
I like that instantly. I don't even know if I'd even have to hear JJ Redick talk.
Right.
It's awesome listening to him. Super intelligent guy. Great to listen to. But he kind of let some information out the other day talking about Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, we haven't talked about it yet, so I was going to bring it up.
Yeah.
But kind of seems like Zion's bought into his own hype a little bit, right?
So that's how I read it. That's how I took it. And everything that came from JJ on that was like basically, dude's all about himself. He's wraps into his own life, wraps into his own training and his distance from the team. He doesn't message anybody. He doesn't do any of that. Now, CJ McCollum came out, I think it was yesterday, and and has backed him and like, hey, you need to get off the young cat's back. He's trying to come back from a physical injury and trying to train his ass off. He's like, I have talked to him. He's like, and I will talk to him probably in the next couple, days, weeks, whatever. But he's like, he's focusing on trying to get back to the game.
Yeah.
Don't you have to say that if you're him, though?
Probably.
Well, does he though? I mean, you don't have to say anything. I'm just saying he doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to say anything negative. He just doesn't have to say anything. Then he actually went out of his way to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really know. You haven't worked with Zion, so why would you go against what JJ's saying when you just got traded there? He didn't have to say anything at all. And CJ will be just fine. He'll get another job somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Zion's he knows he's on a bad team, and he's waiting out his contract till he can somewhere else.
I hope that's the case. And the reason why I say I hope is his foot. I hope the foot thing isn't going to be a career ender.
Yeah.
Because the little bit that we did see, special.
Special, yeah.
So, I do like me some JJ though.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And the last thing. Oh, go ahead.
There was some. The NFL trade rumors. We vaguely touched on it, but what are the chances that the Panthers do pull that trigger that you were talking about? Because I've been seeing more and more of this. Like, they actually have contacted him. It's serious. Of yanking Kirk. Now, you're not giving up Kirk Cousins without a game plan of getting another guy, right?
Yeah.
Unless you think Kellen Mond is the answer. You want to let just Kirk go for nothing if you think you can kind of compete right now, right? Unless you are tanking, I guess.
I don't know what do you get back from?
It'd have to be more than just Carolina, right? Wouldn't there have to be multiple teams probably to get? Maybe they pull a guy like Matt Ryan to get that money off Atlanta's plate. Minnesota, it's pretty similar hit, right, between Ryan and what Kirk has. Kirk was like, 43? Maybe I'm just saying maybe there's another team that would have to be involved because you're right. We would need a quarterback, right?
Right, but if you're going to go for the one big cap hit to the largest cap hit?
I don't know. Maybe it's not him, but
then that number falls to like $8 million the next year. So maybe they're like, there's somebody in the next draft we want. I don't know. That's weird.
I'm surprised. Are you surprised by the Panthers' intrigue of it, actually? I mean, they fell off. They have a decent draft pick, do they not? I think they're
top 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a quarterback savvy class. So that to me that screams desperation for Matt Rule is what I'm getting at.
Mm.
I'm getting at Matt Rule getting a little desperate, looking at the market out there. They haven't been able to swing to get one of those. They're not in the conversation of one of the big boys that could be either true trade, like the big. I'm talking about the Russells and all that, or even the couple free agent ones that could become. So I wonder if it's like a desperation move to try to keep his job.
Yeah, maybe.
Deshaun also wants to potentially come to Minnesota, so maybe we've got that in our back pocket, and we're like, If we think this is real, let's get rid of Kirk right now.
Yeah, there's a little smoke to that one.
Yeah.
To that Deshaun one. But I think at this point, his list is getting bigger and bigger. Like, he's just anybody. For the love of God, anybody.
Yeah, and none of it's going to happen until he gets, this lawsuit deal's settled out. So.
One weird law for you before we kick it over to Rio de Janeiro. It is illegal in the state of Alabama to drive blindfolded.
No.
What?
So they would not be able to ever do blasphemy. I don't think they'd ever be able to survive Bird Box then. Is that what the name of that movie was?
Yeah.
Bird Box, if she had to drive with that?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't drive blindfolded.
Huh.
There's a gray area what you can do when you're related sexually to each other, but don't drive blindfolded.
My sister cousin. I love her.
My sister cousin.
I love her.
That's what I got.
All right, then. I guess it's time for some Rio's randoms.
Hey, can I give you one real quick, though?
Yeah,
Not one
ahead.
of yours. I don't know if you heard it. Want to hear what your answer to Colleen's was.
Okay.
And that is one, what was it? Was it one thing that you do, but you hate that other people do?
I've seen this before.
What did we pick? I picked speeding by someone. Like, I'm okay with me doing it.
Yep, I said picking my nose, I do believe. Yep.
Yeah.
Especially for my kids.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a tough one. I have to think about that.
There's probably like so many that you actually
You don't even think about.
you don't even think about. Like, it don't, like, you do it, but then it annoys the shit out of you when you see someone else do it.
It was a hard one to answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I have to think about that.
All right.
All right. Rio's Random is brought to you by Bo's Power Washing out of Belmont, Iowa. Spring is just around the corner. He'll do any cleaning for you. He'll do weed eating, mowing. Next winter, he'll move your snow if you need it. You can hit him up at 641-903-1720. First one. What is your most hated mode of transportation?
Airplane.
Taking the bus, probably.
Oh,
That bus was pretty crammed, especially when you were with a bunch of drunk people. Like, so after that game, we took that bus,
That tram deal.
that tram deal, and it saves you on the parking and dealing with all that. But
Yeah.
we dealt with some stupid drunk people right there, right?
Yeah.
But plane, dude, I clinch. Yeah, I can't sleep. Everyone says sleep it off. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I've ridden on a train before, and that one it looks cool and like, hey, this will be fun until you realize how long it's going to take. So that kind of sucks.
Like, you did a real train or
Yeah.
or one of those
No.
trams?
No, a
A
real
real
train.
train.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, a real
Countryside and all
Yeah,
that.
So you didn't like that though?
Long time. It's cool for about half hour.
Half hour. And you're like, all right, I'm
You're
ready to be there.
All right, fucking, can we get some turbo on this bitch?
Right, speed her up.
So-
All right.
All right. You're building a dream NFL fantasy franchise. Have you ever done this on Madden where you do a fantasy franchise? Who are you drafting first? Your first pick. Say you got number one pick. Who you taking?
Damn. All right, so I'll let you go with what I normally would say, Jimmer, because we're on the same page with this, I think. If I'm going first, I'm going to go Randy Moss.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter
Okay.
who's throwing him the ball.
You're not wrong there. I was going to say, and I might be a Prio's alley. You may have a different guy, but mine, I think, would have to be like probably Adrian Peterson. Because Rio, the reason why I know is if I'm wrong about Rio like loves to run the rock in Madden. But like, if you have a powerful running back, they are so hard to take down in Madden. But I see your Randy Moss too. Damn.
Yeah, no,
like,
I thought
you just
you'd go
launch
Peyton.
it up.
That's where I thought you'd go Peyton. That's where I was at.
I'm
No.
going Peyton.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get my quarterback.
Just said. So you're talking about in a video game or just said like
No,
in
real
real
life.
real life.
Real life. You're taking them.
Oh, Peyton. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I
all
thought
would have said Peyton.
My bad.
for
I
the
thought
record.
you meant like in an actual video game.
No.
Okay, no.
I'm just
Peyton.
saying. I was just how you can
Yeah.
do that on video.
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
You're drafting first.
Yeah,
Who you
Peyton Manning.
taking?
Peyton Manning.
baby.
That's-
You're
That's
taking Moss.
hilarious. We all would have taken Peyton Manning. I jumped from Peyton because I didn't know you would.
You
pick
don't
him.
even need a coach.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I could save
Yeah.
money as an owner on a coach.
Yeah. I almost went lineman here and but there's so many linemen you can pick that are good. So why not just go get the quarterback that'll lead your franchise?
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
I
that-
didn't
Make
expect
everybody
that
look
from
good.
you, Rio. All right, we're all on the same page there.
I thought he was gonna go Romo.
Oh man, I do like Romo, but not. I mean, yeah.
We're talking about Peyton Manning here.
Peyton,
Like-
yeah, you got a chance to take.
But hold on, isn't the GOAT Tom Brady though?
He is pretty dang good, and he's gonna be the GOAT. And like I said, I ordered a jersey, a Patriots version, and just so I can have it because I know he's
But
gonna be in.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, though, we know that Peyton Manning led
What he can do.
Yeah, what he can do. He led the offense.
Right.
So, okay, yep.
And my last one. You're building a new NBA franchise. Where are you putting it?
Seattle,
Back in Seattle. Okay.
back in Seattle.
Back in Seattle.
Their fan base is so passionate up there for anything they bring in. Right? Their hockey, they were selling out. Their Sounders, I do believe, their hockey, their soccer team. I think they even won an MLS title, I do believe, at some point here. But they back their teams very passionately up there. You're gonna get your money back plus. So I would have to say there,
I like that.
especially NBA. If you would have said NFL, there's always more room in Texas. Right.
I was looking at the map where teams are and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I was looking, and they could go both ways for NFL too. I mean, New Mexico would be one to put down there in the South. That'd be a good spot. Traveling wise too. Probably easy wintertime,
So
get
you're-
in and out.
So you're thinking New Mexico?
Yeah.
Then? Okay. Okay.
Going Vegas.
Oh, there we go for basketball.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nerd.
Yeah. Yep.
Rightfully
It's
so,
going down.
but I think that'd be a different, interesting conversation for the NFL one though. Seattle backed. They were so.
I do
mad
like
that
Seattle.
they-
I wish they would get another team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they lost the Sonics, they were pissed, right? And that all had to do with just stadium. That had nothing to do with like fans coming out.
Right.
Like Sacramento and some of these other teams that are barely hanging on. They also have a attendance issue. When you take a franchise from a city that fully backs their team. Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. And that is what I have for Rio's Randoms tonight.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. Make sure you hit up our guy Bo here. Winter is dwindling down. You're gonna need to get the sidewalks, power wash, the sides of your buildings, everything like that. Hit him up. He'll help you out. He's a good guy.
Absolutely. I think Bose is talking about us doing a live show there. So we're
Is that
talking.
what he's talking about?
Yeah, that's what we finally got to the thing about. And we're like, you know what, for Beauchart, we'll probably do it. It'll be a nice little warm up, I guess.
Yeah.
We haven't all talked about a date or anything like that, but yeah. So we got to the bottom of exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Because Daddy was trying to put it in like code and message. Like, hey, I'm too old. I have a forgetful memory, and it just never led to exactly what was going on. But made it a little clear there.
Yeah. We got to figure it out. So we're gonna have to check it out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Who's got to make sense tonight?
You got something intriguing?
I do. I was just looking at it. I have one from this weekend, but I'm not going to use it yet.
Okay.
But I do have one from back when I was in the third grade.
Oh shit.
These are his little kid ones. He runs into so many. I like it. Like
So
Dennis the Menace, kind of. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
back in third grade, they took all the doors off the stalls in the bathroom because people were kicking them in and riding on them and stuff like that. So they took all the doors off. So it was your nightmare to have to take a number 2 in elementary school because you didn't want people just like walking by. And it was the worst layout. Like you walked in, there was urinals, stalls. You wash your hands in the back of the bathroom.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
so you
dude,
have to walk by the stalls.
Dude, like what the hell? So one day I gotta go. Like it's the dreaded nightmare, right? So I go in there and I'm taking a number 2 with no stall doors in there. And there's some kids that come in there and they're peeing and they're like laughing at me because I'm trying to do my thing. And there's doors. I'm like, dude, like I know I made the cardinal sin. You know, no poop with no doors on. And they're hooting and hollering, and the teacher is like, what's going on out there? And I can hear. And they're messing around. And, I mean, these guys were, like, peeing all over the place, like not in the toilet. And making and they're yelling at me and throwing stuff at me, right? I was like, what the heck? And so the teacher walks in. She's like, what are y'all doing? And she's getting on to them. She's like, who else is in here? And then she comes in. There I am, all scrunched up.
Oh, my God, dude.
She goes,
Did you say she?
Yes, it was a she. It was a she. She walked in there. Yeah, and she's like, what are y'all doing? Messing around? And she looks or whatever. She's like, all 3 of you? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to use the bathroom. She's like, no, what are you doing? Stand up. And I'm like, that's not happening.
That's not an option right now.
She's like, are you really pooping? And I'm like, oh, yeah, like I'm mid-turd hanging out. Girl, she's like,
prairie dogging it.
She's like, I'm going to stand here and watch you and make sure. And I'm like, hold
No,
up. What?
Stop.
Yes. This lady, wanted to watch me. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with you right here, right now. I was kind of like Joey when he's like, I can't go.
Right in the
right in the lake. That was kind of like me. She's standing there. And I'm like, well, I can't go now because I'm nervous. And she's like, hurry up. And she like stood at the door where I could like see the corner of her feet still.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
To get me out of the bathroom. Like, woman, that I look back, I was like, that's kind of sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah.
I think she
old
was trying to
lady.
see little Rio.
What the hell?
Damn,
Yeah,
bro.
I might have a lawsuit on my hands, so. What was her name? Like Miss Eagleton or something like that? Or no, Miss Rudolph or Randolph? That's what it was. Miss Randolph. She hated me.
Do you think this is where a lot of these inappropriate relationships in school start?
Right.
Just
Stand up, let me see. Oh. Whoa. Hello, Mr. 10 Inches.
I wasn't expecting that.
So, yeah, it makes sense if you don't think about it. And words of wisdom. If your teacher asks you to stand up when you're on the toilet, don't do it.
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Second of all, there's no doors on the stall. You might want to hold that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Call mom. Your tummy hurts.
Yeah, take that shit home.
Yeah. I tried. I was like, it's coming out of my pants. And that would be even worse, right?
Right.
So I had to go. And that was, we always made fun of the kids, right? So I guess it's karma for
Yep.
finally the one
Oh,
time.
you're taking a shit.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So took the doors off.
Dude, I can't believe she made it that awkward.
Yeah,
like,
she did.
Stand up. What?
Right. She's like, are y'all 3 messing around? No. Hello. I've got my pants around my ankles and
That's what I was going to say. Like, your pants are down. She's
Hold
like,
on.
stand up.
Well, hold on. What kind of messing around? Like, what are
Right.
we doing? My pants are completely off.
yeah, it's getting tough out here. So yeah, makes sense if you don't think about it. She
You got
was.
the best bathroom stall
I
stories.
tell you what, I had totally forgot
Or
that.
porta pot.
The porta potties, man. I don't know. I remember one time.
There's some weird shit that happens in Texas, dude.
So there's this
'Cause
guy.
wasn't that porta pot there too?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
porta potty. He was working this one time. So I'm in flip flops, right, and I'm standing by the urinal, and I'm using the bathroom, and there's, you know how there's the stalls right next to it. all of a sudden, somebody pees on the floor right next to my feet, and it splatters all over my feet.
no.
There's a kid in the fucking stall next to me peeing on the floor and thinking it's hilarious.
Oh my god, dude!
I told on his ass immediately. I didn't give a fuck.
Immediately.
I tattletaled right away.
Right away,
Didn't give a fuck.
on me.
He peed on my feet.
dude.
She's like, what? She's like, what?
You
it was a different grade, but I was like, he peed on my feet. She's like, what do you mean? How do I know? And I'm like, well, your feet aren't supposed to be fucking wet after you come in the bathroom. I certainly didn't piss on myself.
do you twitch a little bit before you go into a public bathroom now?
I'm scarred for life, definitely.
PTSD.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the story about what was going on in the stall in Des Moines, but
Yeah, that was a nasty picture.
that was a nasty bathroom. There was some questionable stuff on the stall walls. I didn't feel safe. There's razor blades in the sink. Like,
Jesus.
the sink. There was hair. Like, somebody had been shaving in the sink.
He picked
There's blood on the floor.
He picked the shadiest. And
Part
hold
of
on,
town.
hold on, real quick, because he obviously lived there. Which Walmart do you believe this man went to? And it was in
Southside
Des Moines.
Walmart, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
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 No chance.
No.
No chance.
Took me straight south.
Dude, did you sit on the toilet or did you at least hover?
Oh, I hovered. Dude, I was like, I kind of got to go, but I don't know. I might catch like 10 different things if I sit down.
Dude, I was watching a video the other day. It was these construction workers like doing pranks to each other or whatever. And one of the guys is in a porta potty. You brought that up, so that made me think of this. He's in there taking a shit. And this is genius, to be honest with you. I've never thought of this. But they took some kind of heavy something, and they dropped it in that thing on top. Like, there's that vent thing that comes out or whatever.
Yeah.
They dropped it in, and it fucking splattered. And so he just got a bunch of porta potty shit all over his ass.
So pissed.
Oh, dude. I'm like, that's genius, but that's fucked up.
We know a guy, we work with a guy that took one on one of the golf outings. They, it was on a trailer. So what do you think the move was on that? Him getting moved around the course maybe while he's on the shitter?
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yikes. Like dangerously close to tipping over, I do believe.
Oh, man. Nope.
Yeah.
Right, it starts shifting back and forth.
Can't believe he brought it on the outing. That's weird.
What?
Why'd he bring it?
No. What do you mean bring it? It was there.
It was there on the trailer.
I
Somebody brought
thought
it.
you said
yeah.
he brought it.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
No,
they dropped it off,
no.
but it was on a trailer
It
so
was-
they can move it.
So they can move it wherever on the
my
course if they
God.
want to. Well, he went and go pinch one off, and they started moving it around.
no, I don't trust any of you motherfuckers to go take a shit
I think that's
in
the
a porta potty when
I
we're
think
all
that's
together.
the reason why this dude takes like literally
Dude,
a
I go-
3.7 second shit on the course.
I push.
Push.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
got
what hole is that? 5?
Yeah, dude.
Hole 5. There's a porta pot right there. We get up there to tee, but he runs up in there.
I was like, dude,
And
I
I'm
gotta
talking
go.
about I barely even stretch for my swing, and he's already coming out. I'm like, dude, what the hell? He's like, just fell right out.
It's impossible. Didn't even have to wipe. Shut up.
That happens sometimes. It's like
Sometimes it's magic. I give you that. You're like, hold on, I know I pooped. But
right, right. Or you look in there and there's nothing in the toilet. You're just like, am I a wizard?
yes.
Is this a magic show?
That was some heavy air that fucking came out of there. What the hell? Damn. Right on. I think that about wraps it up. You got anything else over there, boys?
That's about it.
Let's rock it tonight then, man. We appreciate all of you guys for listening in, for following us on the socials, all that fun stuff.
Keep her coming. Keep her coming.
Make sure to give us a follow, subscribe, and everything like that. Where do we want them to do it, Jimmer?
Facebook. Are you talking about the Facebook part? Because you were talking. Usually we do the listens.
Yeah.
Where do you want to listen?
Subscribe.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get you some on Spotify, Apple, Google, Facebook podcast.
That's right.
Also have a bucket up there, a contest or whatever you want to put it. Draw a name up at. Where is that at?
A Gentleman's Way up here in Garner.
Garner, Iowa. Get
Go
yourself a free haircut.
Yeah, go get a haircut and put your name in the bucket. And here at the end of the month or so, we'll draw names, and you may be a lucky winner.
Yeah, it's easy. Just take a picture of the code we've got out there, and it'll lead you to the podcast. Subscribe. Check out the socials, things like that. And definitely hit us up. We appreciate Colleen the other day for giving us a question. Hit us up. Where, Rio?
It all goes down in the DMs. Shoot us some funny stories or questions, and we'll get it out to the people.
Definitely. Now, it doesn't always have to be poop stories. We just happen to have a lot of those.
Yeah.
For the record. So whatever you got that's funny, we'd love to share it. But we'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody, again for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.